They study too much, are socially awkward, and unattractive. Talk about Foucault at parties. What parties? What parties? We go to the University of Chicago. There are no parties here. Oh, where to begin? A typical UCHICAGO student is ugly, nerdy, socially awkward, as well as antisocial, quirky, and never stops studying. Whether you find these traits charming is somewhat subjective. But the real beauty of these stereotypes is that we embrace them on cloth. You'll find t-shirts all over campus that read, "The University of Chicago," where the only thing that goes down on you is your GPA. I don't know what that was, but I mean, I'm ugly, socially awkward, no fun, socially inept, you know, what can you expect from me? Hello, welcome, you guessed it. We're talking about UCHICAGO stereotypes, and yeah, there's a lot I want to say about this. I have scoured the deepest depths of the internet, the worst places possible, to find all of these stereotypes for you. And now I will scour through all of my repressed UCHICAGO memories of terror to tell you if I think that it is right or not right. I do want to warn you though, because I am socially inept, I might get some things wrong, but remember to take everything, including these stereotypes, as well as my thoughts on these stereotypes, with a grain of salt, because stereotypes are extremely oversimplified and very, very subjective, and everybody has different experiences, especially within my own friend group. Sometimes within my own mind, I have different thoughts going on when it comes to UCHICAGO. I will also be giving you guys practical tips to handle all of these stereotypes, because some of them are, you know, pretty accurate. There are culturally rooted truths in many of these stereotypes, so yeah, let's get straight into it. I've broken everything out into 4 distinct themes that every stereotype is just gonna fall into. The first one being where fun goes to die. The second is being culturally nerdy. The third, our academics are just extremely rigorous and we don't have a life because of that. And the fourth, that everybody at UCHICAGO is quirky, aka just plain weird. My first point when it comes to UCHICAGO being where fun goes to die, this is rooted in so many different things. The fact that it's a very academic school, which it is. You know, it has one of the highest test score averages and the acceptance rate is extremely low, and just little things like that that add up to create a certain type of student body. Personally, I don't think UCHICAGO is where fun goes to die. It's so intellectually thriving. You can choose not to have fun if you don't want to have fun. I want to talk about some fun things on campus. We have $1 milkshakes. I believe it's on Wednesdays. They're good milkshakes, they're $1. We have Dean Boyer, one of our deans, on a bicycle. He wrote a history about the University of Chicago. Fun fact, I worked for him my second year in college. And just Chicago is a beautiful, beautiful city. Like, where fun goes to die is really redundant because it's about who you surround yourself with and the stuff you decide to do on campus. So the first thing I want to tell you is Chicago is beautiful. You could go downtown. There's so much to do with your friends. I used to go downtown very often, almost every weekend, just to go to new restaurants and have fun with my friends. And we would study at coffee shops downtown, very overpriced coffee shops. But you know, it was really fun. And we studied because it is a very rigorous academic environment. Like, UCHICAGO prides itself in intellect and getting people who are going to be the next, like, you know, big things almost. Like, everyone I went to school with, I would not be surprised if these people ended up as CEOs, as just people doing great things in the world. I can confidently say out of my friend group, I know all of them are going to be doing amazing things, and they have worked so hard to get to where they are. The second, Hyde Park is also an absolutely beautiful place where fun does not die. I mean, they have like so many restaurants down 53rd Street. They have a little theater, and like, I don't know, it's just a very quaint atmosphere. The neighborhood is amazing. And there's just so many rituals that, you know, people go through. Your first year on campus, there are some houses that go like jump into Lake Michigan at like 5 a.m. and I don't know, there's just a lot of fun little things that are very core to UCHICAGO, and it's very special. And I feel like it's a school with a lot of personality. And that's exactly what I wrote in my YU Chicago essay. I remember I never visited campus. I was in India at a boarding school on top of a mountain when I wrote this, but I genuinely felt that U Chicago had a personality and I wanted to be a part of that. And lo and behold, I went there, I graduated from there, and I loved it there. There are also 400 plus RSOs on campus. There's off campus, which is like one of the registered student organizations. That's what RSO is. Off campus is super fun, and they put on shows every week, and it's a comedy club on campus. There's everything from like astronomy club to chess club to MUN, a cappella groups, dancing. Like it's a college campus. Like academics are very rigorous, but you have so many options and other things to do. There's amazing peer support groups. One called Lean On Me that I've mentioned in another video that helps support, mental health on campus and gives you someone to talk to when you need it. There are amazing student services when it comes to mental health as well. I don't know, there's a lot to campus. So I genuinely don't think UChicago is where fun goes to die. I think it's where people thrive. People who want to change the world thrive at UChicago, and that's genuinely what I believe. I have made a video about what I hate about UChicago, and I already talked about mental health there, but there is an air of depression on campus. And I just want to say this, and I don't know if everyone's going to agree with me here, but people who genuinely have a lot of goals and I don't know, like overthink a lot, which honestly I think is most of us. If you're overthinking, it does tend to lead you towards being depressed or having moments of sadness, whatever it may be. I think it's common among people who genuinely think a lot, and I do think people at UChicago genuinely think a lot. So yeah, I think there is an air of depression on campus, but I just want you to know that you're gonna have that feeling, like that air of depression, if you're around just such impressive people working so hard and trying to deal with all of these things, between the ages of 18 and 22 in college. Of course there's going to be an air of depression. There's no place that isn't going to have an air of depression on a college campus. I promise you that. I can 1000% tell you that. So people talk about UChicago being extremely depressing, but I think UChicago is just vocal about it. Not that it's the only place that's filled with depression. It's just one of the places that's actually talking about it, which in this day and age, we need that. Let's move on to UChicago being culturally nerdy. Being smart and being nerdy or priding yourself in learning does not make you, ugly or unattractive or, whatever people may say about UChicago. And I don't know, it's just kind of funny that these are so oversimplified and people believe them. I see it on TikTok all the time. My little brother is always sending me comments or videos where people are just saying horrible things about UChicago. And I'm just they're probably people who didn't apply, because once you get to know more and more about campus, the people who were on campus, the people who left campus, alumni, it's just so impressive, to me at least. I was very proud to go there. So yeah, but I do have to say one thing. Pulling up my laptop here, it says, and I quote, "Northwestern students are more dateable than UChicago's." Yeah, well, apparently it's on the news, so it must be accurate. So I want to let you know, we do not have dateable graduates. We're culturally nerdy, and yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. No, I'm joking. Don't get scared off by these stereotypes. The whole culturally nerdy thing really hits into my next theme as well, which is rigorous academics. So let's just kind of mold those two together. Hello, just to interrupt whatever I was rambling about, just want to remind you guys to subscribe or hit the like button, or both if you haven't already. It really will support me in the channel. It means a lot to me, and I love creating content for you guys. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say, you socially inept big babies. Thank you so much, and yeah, let's keep going. It is very rigorous. It's very hard, and it was, in several moments in my life, I have been told UChicago is harder than other schools of that caliber. And I never knew what that meant. But then once I went into the job force, when I was actually applying to jobs, I was actually told in a consulting interview, and this was in comparison to Northwestern, which is also a top 10 school, whatever GPA you have as a UChicago graduate student for their firm, they actually bump it up by 0.2 to 0.3, depending on your your major because they know that UChicago does not have grade inflation and it kind of teeters towards grade deflation. So everyone in the workforce like knew this. Like this was a very big consulting firm that told me that, and I was just like, oh, that's crazy. So if you have a 3.3 at UChicago, like they consider it a 3.5 or 3.6. And coming from UChicago as an astrophysics major, you know, physics is hard, okay? If UChicago is hard and physics is hard, UChicago physics is just another beast unto itself. And I was told that, and I never had any issues. I genuinely think that like you learn how to deal with academics over time, but I do have a couple of points for you guys. The first is that you don't need to prove yourself to anybody. The academics genuinely are hard, and when you're used to doing the hardest of the hard things, like taking the hardest classes, trying to fit all your activities and being the president of like 10 different organizations in high school, then you come to UChicago, you are not expected to do any of those things. Like honestly, figure out what works for you. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You don't have to take the hardest possible classes and just die in the process. It's just about doing whatever is sustainable in your life. Second thing, always go to office hours. You have to do this. Like you have to do this. It will change your life at UChicago. Like you will never ever get a grade under like a B ever again if you just go to office hours and stay on top of your grades, stay on top of everything, talk to your professor every time you don't understand questions, and at the end of it, if you're literally between grades, like your professor will give you the better grade at the end of it if you went to office hours because they know you worked hard. The next one, study groups. You need to have a study group, and when I say study group, I don't mean all of you just like Chegg solutions or whatever, but you genuinely discuss questions that you don't understand when it comes to difficult classes, which is really helpful when it comes to physics or math problem sets. The fourth is just majoring in what you love. And this is hard, and everyone at UChicago goes through this because like there was a stereotype I read about how everyone's at UChicago is an econ major, and like I'm not gonna lie, that ends up happening. Like I know a lot of people who are pre-med or like molecular engineering or something, then they end up doing something totally different, tending towards economics, and it's because the school is predominantly economics. Like that's the #1 major, it's in the majority. It's not a bad thing. Like UChicago is a world-renowned institution for econ, but really like take a step back and major in what you love, not what you think you're gonna get a job in. Because I majored in astrophysics, but I had offers from like companies, like I had offers from tech companies as a data scientist. I had offers from management consulting firms as a consultant. I majored in physics, guys. You gotta remember that you can get a job in whatever you want and have a major in something else. If anything, they liked that I was a physics major and not something else because it was so out of the blue. It was so unique because most physics majors get their PhD, whereas I was like the only physics major in their list of resumes from UChicago, and they were like, wow, like I want to get to know you. Then you go to the interview and then you kill it, you get a job. Like you don't have to major in econ to get a job that relates to whatever you think econ majors would get jobs in, like consulting, iBanking. Like you can do all of that with like a math major, physics major, bio major, whatever. So just major in what you love and don't worry about the job. It'll follow, I promise you that. That last stereotype bucket that we're going to talk about is being quirky, which UChicago is filled with people of various personalities. Not everybody is just going to be weird, but like, okay, I'm not going to lie. Like when you're not weird, like that's weird to me. You know, like if there's nothing unique about you that makes you you, then like where is the personality at? You know, so when people call UChicago quirky, like I don't know what they mean. People are very like unique and different, and I love that. Like I didn't go to a homogenous school. I learned from people who were diverse, people who were different from me, people who had different upbringings from me. I learned from that. And that all ties into having a more globalized perspective. Whatever you choose to do in the future, I feel like everybody in some way or the other wants to help. And if you want to help, you need to know who you're helping, and nobody is homogenous. So going to a school with a very diverse student body is amazing. Like I can tell you, it benefits you later on in life. As a 23-year-old grandmother, and yes, UChicago has very weird things. Like we have humans versus zombies where like a couple days each quarter, you see people running around campus with Nerf guns. And the way you actually save yourself from a zombie if you're playing the game is by having a waddled ball of socks. And if you throw the sock at the zombie, they can't follow you. It's like really funny, weird, and you know, it's very UCHICAGO. They have that, they have the largest scavenger hunt. I talk about all of these in other videos, so I'd really recommend checking those out if you're trying to understand more about campus life. But it is awesome, like the people I met, they're all weird. They're very weird, and I love that. Like I made the best friends I could ask for. They were all very, very different from each other as well. Guys, I'm telling you, like UCHICAGO is absolutely awesome. I don't think any of these 4 buckets of stereotypes, like although like academic wise, very, very rigorous, that is the truth. But people who end up coming here can handle the rigor, you know? People say that we're kind of expected to handle the rigor and people just end up getting depressed in the process, which may very well happen. Like you need to figure out what works for you. And it is a very hard school, I will say that. Don't just base everything on what you read on Reddit or what you see on TikTok or whatever, you know? If you have any specific video requests about UCHICAGO, please, please, please let me know down below. I would love to make those videos for you. Anything about college, after college, whatever you want to see. Definitely let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys at the next one.